Yeah, that's, I mean, you have to look on, like, you know, they go up, they come down.
Sometimes at lunchtime, you watch the
Average
news and
of
it's
what went-
different.
Yeah, how it all works, I can't the average.
Morning,
Yeah, we
Brad.
really have no idea.
Amazing. Good morning. Good morning, Peanut Gallery. Oh, we're live. That's now part of the minutes.
It won't be part of the minutes either. Because it's not 7:30.
Huh?
It's not 7:30 yet.
Oh, that's true. That's true. But it looks like everybody's here, and it looks like we're close.
Yep.
Teresa, are you ready?
Yes.
That's what counts. She's in charge. I'd like to call this meeting of the City of Washington Board of Public Works to order, Tuesday, December 23rd. Roll call, please.
John Vittmer,
Here.
Brad Mitchell,
Here.
Mike Ratatic,
Here?
Steve Struberg,
Here.
Al Bar,
Here.
Joe Holmeyer,
Here.
Austin Horstkamp,
Okay, stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for coming. Merry Christmas week.
We appreciate that, Steve.
First order of business, approve the minutes from
So-
last meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes approved. Thank you very much. And they look like an abbreviated
Yes, they are an abbreviated
session
minutes.
instead of the verbatim, so
And we also have the verbatim. If somebody would just come to us and say, we really want to see the verbatim, we can,
we still have that.
We
Did
can
this-
produce it.
Did you like the?
that's a good thing.
description?
That's a good,
if it was enough for you guys to see what you needed to see, we can continue with it. If not, we can modify it as we go, but just let us know if something. And by all means, if every month you notice something that didn't show up or you didn't notice something, let us know and we'll keep on working on it, but.
great. I think it's gonna work out fine. Any priority items creep in here, Kevin?
No real priority items. No, everything's hopefully gonna stay the way it is through Christmas
That's a good idea.
and the new year.
If we don't talk about it, it won't happen.
We don't bring up the word.
All right, well then, let's move on to wastewater. We got a air handler, air unit that's makeup air, it looks like. that's
Yes,
gotta
this is, we just replaced, well, they're replacing it right now because it finally came in. One out of last year's budget. This is Makeup Air Unit 4, which runs the Upper Headworks building area. It's out. All these units have become obsolete. We've tried to bubble gum them together as long as we can. It's time for replacement, and that's what we have to do, so. Went out for bids. Crystal Heating and Cooling was low bid on this one. I think on the last one also, so. We have 2 more to go. Just let you know, we have 2 more to go.
Is those other two, are they going, are they gonna happen like the next year, or we just wait till they totally?
No, they'll happen in next year's budget. I'm just gonna go ahead and budget them on out because they're gonna go out. And everybody that comes and looks at them already tells us that they're struggling to find parts for them, so. It's not just one supplier, it's everybody that comes and looks at them. Says that they can try this part, it might work. If it doesn't work, then they have to put this part in, then it just.
So it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
So then my question would be, is there any benefit to asking Crystal if there's a cost break doing 3 versus 1?
I can get in touch with them and ask them. Good thought. Don't really think about that on that side of it. Did it on the pumps and on the, everything else, but not on the heating. Yeah. Yes, I will ask.
Yeah,
Good
so
idea. I will ask. And
do it
what we still have to do it, but I'll send you guys an email, or have Teresa send you guys an email with what the outcome to the question was.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Make a motion to approve.
Approve Crystal Heating and Cooling.
Correct.
Second.
And second. All in favor of accepting the Crystal Heating and Cooling bill for $32,995, you'd say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, carries. We'll send that over to the council for approval. Everything else at the plant's okay?
Yeah, we have done a whole lot of pumping changing, pump changing, however you want to call it, in the system. As you know, we've been working on the Front Street side, flow matching from Walnut Street, or from West Link to West End to Walnut Street. That's where the flow matching stops to try and alleviate odor. Since we've done that, it's been now about 2.5 months, maybe 3 months now we've done that. I can't say that I haven't gotten one call into Public Works saying there was an odor down on Front Street. I drive down there, when I drive down there, I open up all my windows in my truck, I drive slow, I try to smell I don't smell anything, so I think that scheme is working on that end of town. So we've also now done the same thing at the treatment plant. We are now flow matching at the treatment plant, which isn't standard operation. It's not standard operation, but since we have went to flow matching, which means we have changed the way the Walnut Street pumps its sewage. It actually pumps it up to the headworks now, right into the flow line of the channel. So it's not going into the wet well, which helps on odor on that side of it. And we're actually moving, as sewage comes in, we're moving it through the pumps, through the system. So it's flow matching.
Was that why last week, I noticed a little bit of odor last week coming from the treatment plant?
Yeah, we was working on all that last
That's
week.
what I
It's been
figured.
running now for, I guess, about, just a hair under a week. So we should start noticing
I
more.
haven't noticed it lately, but last week.
Yeah, yesterday I went down there and drove around and walked around it, and the odor, now, we're always gonna have a wastewater odor.
Right.
We're not gonna get rid of that. But that kind of sweet pungent smell that we was smelling, hopefully with us flow matching and just constantly moving the sewage, it won't have a chance to sit back, become septic and not, and create the odors. We had to do a lot of work on a gate down there, so we had our, hydrogen sulfide tester down there, our meter that we use. The first day we was down there working on it, we had high H2S gas in the wet well, which was, we was able to work in it by using the air blower and everything. But when we went in the second time to use it after changing the pumping scheme, we had 0 readings on our meters. So that in itself is helping that side of it, which will help the corrosion side. Anyway, long story, but. So that's what we've done at the plant to try and help that. It does seem to be helping. Now, that will probably create a something operational will have to happen. I mean, when you do one thing, something always happens. Is it gonna be for the good or the bad? We won't know until we're not noticing any differences other than flows look a little different. But other than that, also, down at the plant, speaking of flows, we have 4 flow meters down at the treatment plant that are failing and are completely obsolete. You cannot replace them. You can't rebuild them. They've got to be replaced. Each one of those meters, just for the meter, is $60,000. Just for the meter. That's not installation. So what we're gonna do is, I've got a couple companies looking at it right now. We're gonna convert over to what they call a partial flow system on the backside of the grits of the upper area to pick up that flow with a transducer rather than flow meters. That, for all 3 of them, is probably gonna come in less than what one of the meters would cost to replace. So, the design of that plant was a great design. We built a great plant. It was under budget, but it was what they call a value engineered plant. So when they put all the flow meters in the plant, they didn't build them so that the mag meters stayed full all the time. Mag meters, if they don't stay full, they give you funky reads, and they're just not designed really but they wasn't designed right. So I don't want to say right, let me rephrase that. It wasn't designed to operate at its optimum
Efficiency.
flow reading numbers that we need at the plant to report to the DNR. That being said, we're working on it. So there's gonna be something coming down. That does have to happen. It has to happen right away. So I've got people giving us quotes. As soon as I get them quotes, it'll be coming to the board on a fast track to get that going, because we are trying to use our effluent flow as our influent flow monitoring, and it's a juggling match. So we're trying to work on that.
Always something.
Always something. Enough doom and gloom from the treatment plant for today. Let's move on to something else.
So So since we built the plant, have you added up all the replacement pieces, the cost-wise? Compare what we spent in the first place and compare what we spent since
I
then?
haven't done that, but if you want me to do that, I can do that.
I know, we don't need to do that, I just,
It's probably good information I should have, so I will start working on,
but, nothing lasts forever, so.
we keep all the records, so there's no reason why I
Yeah.
can't, so I will do that.
Still a good plant.
Anyway, no, I mean, the plant, as the plant goes, it's still producing as it was producing the day we built it. I mean, we're still shooting single digits out to the river, on TSS and BODs, where, we will have, there will be, back to the treatment plant. There will be something that comes down with our new permit approval, which is due, in 26, so we're working on it right now. Everything's at DNR right now for it. We may have to remove phosphorus, I think it is. That could change the game a little bit, because that's gonna be a new regulation that I think we're gonna have to remove, and have to worry about that, but I don't have a whole lot of information on that yet.
Yeah.
Something that'll be coming down the pipe though, probably, so.
How about the?
TJ and Dave could probably, elaborate on that a little bit more, but that's not what they're here for, so.
Okay. How about the sludge and the, pressing and all that crap?
Yeah, that's
All
going,
that stuff.
that's going good. We will always press, we will always have sludge. The new belt press, the totally rebuilt, basically new belt press other than the frame structure is working great, doing what it's supposed to, so that's good. Good investment. It'll last another, who knows how long, 20, 30 years probably. But as far as that goes, yeah, we're still broadcasting it. We'll broadcast it as long as we can until a new regulation comes in or hits us with something else, and we'll figure out what we gotta do at that point in time, but.
All right, thank you. Anything particular on water that we need to cover before we move on to the main attraction?
Nothing particular, I just wanna keep it in conversation, keep them in conversation. The Clay Street tank and Enduro tank, it's still on the plans to be taken care of in the spring. It's winter now, so we can't do anything with it, but, Tanemic is still standing behind their paint. They're working with the tank company, the company that painted the tanks, which was sold, so it's a new owners who supposedly understand the situation. So the bottom line is the city will not owe anything on it. It was not our error, so, but just want to give you a heads up. It's still there. The paint is still peeled.
Is any more peeled?
Every once in a while, when the wind blows, a little bit more peels off. So that's a good thing for us, is the more peels off, they know how much more they gotta do, but they will still have to come in and high pressure wash both tanks to make sure they get everything off, and there's a step they gotta
No new
process.
spots?
No new spots, just a few growing spots.
Okay.
Yeah, they're just growing, so, and then both tanks are kind of stopping at certain points where they're not really moving anymore, so,
All right.
yeah, so that's it. We're still, it's still there, but, really waiting on weather now.
All right. Well, I'm gonna turn it over to you and our visitors from Cochrane to go through this
All right.
detailed presentation we got here.
Well, as we know, several months back, we started working on analyzing the Front Street situation that we have down there. We contracted with Cochrane to look at it for us, and I think they did a great job. They did exactly what we asked them to do. So TJ's here to kind of go over it, and I'll just be here to listen.
Morning, guys. So TJ Garbs with Cochrane Engineering, got Dave here as well. So we sat down with the city and talked through it with them, just to kind of give you a brief rundown on what you guys hired us to do. We were hired and tasked with looking at the Walnut Street lift station, along with Front Street, the gravity sewer in that area as well. So from there, we looked at a few different things that Kevin had brought up and that we'd come up with ourselves. So I'm just gonna jump right into here. This first sheet is just kind of a summary breakdown of all the costs and everything, and the different scenarios that we came up with. I'd like to go through each individual project, just give a brief rundown on all of them, and then I'll go through the scenarios and everything and the costs. So first thing, first project that we looked at was a new force main. So currently, the city has a 14-inch diameter force main that runs from the Walnut Street lift station going over to the treatment plant. From our analysis, we determined that force main is no longer sufficient just due to the peak, during high rain events, whenever that Walnut Street lift station sees a lot of flows. The the force main is one of those factors that needs to be upgraded in order to get the necessary flows out of the lift station and get it over to the treatment plant. So one of our recommendations was to replace that 14-inch diameter force main with a new 24-inch diameter force main. So quite the upgrade. And if you look at sheet number 2, it's this first 11 by 17 sheet you got here. This is a general alignment that we're looking at for the force main. It's just going to follow the alignment of the existing force main. Again, running from the Walnut Street lift station over the treatment. So that's the first thing we looked at. Second project we looked at was modifications to the Walnut Street lift station. So these modifications, just to give you brief background on the lift station itself, it's a 22-foot diameter cylindrical structure that's 36 feet deep, so a pretty big structure. And there's a wet basin and a dry basin. So basically you can imagine there's a wall that runs straight down the middle of that structure. One side's the wet side where all the water goes to, and the other side's a dry basin where the pumps sit. So right now, there are pumps that are sitting down at the bottom of that thing. In order to get to them, personnel have to go down in there to physically work on them. So these improvements, what that would include is they also have, there's also pumps there that are insufficient as far as pumping rates go with the amount of flow that's coming into these lift stations. So right now, these pumps pump around 2,800 gallons a minute. From our calculations and everything, we were expecting to see 5,500 gallons a minute that these pumps need to be pumping. It's almost double. So these improvements would be replacing those existing pumps, and we would also be converting this structure to what we call a wet basin. So in order to do that, we would just core holes in the side of the walls, and we would replace those pumps that are in there with submersible pumps. And that's just an industry standard that we typically see all around Missouri. So that's those improvements. That scenario 1 that you see there, that is including that 24-inch diameter force main I was talking about and those existing lift station improvements, and that comes to be $6.64 million. So that's just those items. The next project I wanted to talk to you about is the new lift station improvements. So instead of making any improvements to the existing lift station, just installing a whole new lift station right next to where the existing lift station currently is. The main reason, we just wanted to kind of show you a side-by-side cost analysis of what it would take to just do a new lift station. The existing lift station is rather old, but looking at it just from a visual standpoint does look like it's in pretty good shape as far as concrete goes, the concrete structure and everything, the integrity of it. So this option, scenario 2, is just adding a new lift station more or less. So new wet well, new valve vault, that's all that was included with that, okay? And that price comes to just shy of $7.2 million. So, you know, about a $600,000 difference there. So we also looked at a few different alternatives to this as well. And by alternatives, just things that you can add to this Walnut Street lift station to add redundancy to the structure and everything itself. So the first one is a generator. So typically at a lift station of this size, we would recommend a standby generator that's just there all the time in case of power outage. So imagine you know, you have a large rain event. That's most likely whenever you will lose power at the site is during a large rain event. So a generator will have an automatic transfer switch that just automatically kicks the power over, and then you don't ever lose power at the lift station that's in place. So I do believe the city does have a portable generator,
Yes.
but that could be utilized elsewhere as well. So this is just for redundancy is what this project's for. And that cost is $304,000. The next project that we looked at was emergency storage. So again, this is just an alternative that you can add or not add. It's to add redundancy to the system. So this structure is going to be rather large. It's based on what our calculations came out to be. It was a 60-foot by 90-foot by 10-foot deep structure, so very large. The idea here is to, so say during a wet weather event, you're seeing a lot of flow, and the pumps that we've selected should be able to keep up. But say this isn't necessarily to, this isn't to add storage more or less, it's to add redundancy. So if that pump were to fail, it gives the city time to react. So that wet well, if that pump fails, the wet well is going to fill up very quickly. But when it gets to a certain point, when it hits that emergency storage and it starts filling, there's more volume for the water to go to. So it'll fill at a much slower pace, giving them time to react to an emergency situation. If, say, the emergency pump did fail, the pump that's pumping 5,500 gallons a minute, it'll give them time to react to that. That's the idea of this project. Those are that's kind of the main high priority items, I believe. We did have a few other projects that I thought were just worth mentioning. There is a Front Street Interceptor project. So these projects are, this project in particular was just discovered when we were evaluating your guys' gravity sewer system along Front Street. We did discover there was an area where the gravity sewer system was very flat in a certain area. This causes what we would call a bottleneck. It's 18-inch pipe, but because it's so flat, it's relying on gravity to get the water from point A to point B. And if it's very flat, your capacity drops drastically. So this project is more or less to get more slope on the pipe, which in return will increase the amount of water that can go through said pipe. So that is a project that we talked about. And I just want to hit on the exhibits that we have here. I just wanted to explain each project individually and then show you. So page 2, that is that in the top right-hand corner, that's the number I'm referencing. Page 2 is the force main project we talked about. Page 3, this is kind of just a brief idea of, it's a conceptual plan really, of the existing lift station upgrades. Please note that we do have the emergency storage structure and the generator shown on here. The prices in scenario 1 and 2, that does not include emergency storage or the generator. Just please note that. Those need to be added on to that cost, okay? Page 4 is, again, it's just the new lift station exhibit. It shows the new lift station. There's a valve vault there, and then the storage structure sitting right next to it with the generator. All of those, again, that is not included in that cost, but this is just a general brief idea of as far as the conceptual plan goes. This property that sits right there, that is all owned by the city. We already verified all that as well. So, page 5, this is the Interceptor project that I was talking about along Front Street. Again, this particular project, it's replacing a certain portion where there's a very flat area. Kevin also has expressed concerns about this railroad crossing as well. I believe the city has had issues with that in the past.
Yes, we have.
This would mitigate a lot of those issues as well, just getting a whole new crossing underneath the railroad. And because I believe at a certain point, Kevin wanted to do something with that anyway.
We are gonna do, yeah, we're doing
Yes.
something with
So-
it, yeah.
So this is part of that, but I would say, overall, as far as necessity goes, the way Cochran has looked at this is The lift station upgrades seem to be the highest priority, as you need to be able to get the water out of there. So as far as that goes, to help mitigate I&I, which is inflow and infiltration, what that really is just water getting into your gravity sewer system, whether it's through cracked pipes, damaged manholes, et cetera. We also encourage that the city just keep utilizing the CIPP lining program, which sounds like Kevin has been adamantly working on that as well. So we did come up with a cost for that as well, just to give you guys an idea. It's rough, and if you look at the very, very last sheet, page 12, this just gives you an idea of what we were looking at. The city has installed quite a bit of what we call CIPP, which is cured in place piping. More or less, they just line the inside of the existing piping so they don't have to dig it up and replace it. And then also they line the manholes as well. By doing this, this protects the piping from any infiltration, any groundwater, anything like that getting into the system, which then causes more water, which causes more lift station run times, and that can lead to maintenance issues, et cetera. It helps overall the system run more efficiently. The city has started working on this in the drainage area of the Walnut Street lift station, I believe on the west end. They've gotten quite a bit of it done, about almost a third of it almost. We just came up with quick numbers just to give you an idea of what, to keep that program moving. This will help overall with this problem as well. So as far as conclusions and everything goes, I think the higher priority items are lift station improvements. That interceptor project was more or less just to bring it to the board's attention. As far as that goes, that's more or less the gist of our evaluation. If you guys have any questions, or Dave, if you want to add anything, please feel free.
So, you just said the lift station improvements, but when we started, we talked about the force main itself. So it sounds like the force main itself needs to be replaced. That's gonna be part of this project one way or another.
So I think scenario 1 and 2, one of these has to happen together.
Okay.
So either you do the force main and lift station improvements, or you do a new lift station with the force main improvements. The current pumps that are there in place, they will not be able to operate with this new force main.
Okay,
Okay, that's
Yeah, it's,
more
yeah.
or less.
Yeah.
Yes.
okay.
How old is that 14-inch cast that's there?
Oh, it was put in roughly right around 1963, 62, 63.
That whole stretch all the way down?
Same time the station was built. We rebuilt the station back in 2008, Carrie, roughly? 2008. We took all the what they called cross-line pumps and put in the VFDs at that time, which matched the exact pumping schematics and scheme of the station. That was back then. But we've grown a lot. We've got a lot more going on, and the thing that we always seem to forget about, not us, we don't forget about, but what is forgotten about is, we talk about growth in the community and homes and streets and all this other stuff. We don't talk a lot about the struggles that it puts on the infrastructure of the water and wastewater. It's just not talked about. It's not pretty. It's not, ooh, we don't see it. It costs money. We're seeing those strains and those growths, not only in the field operational side, but the office operational side. We don't talk about that stuff. It's something we have to bring to the forefront and start talking about. We're gonna have to put money into it. We have no choice. It's how we do it. The Front Street project, we're gonna continue slip lining. We just got our survey from Dukes for our I&I trackers that we put in. They found a spot on Market Street. We haven't had a chance to get out and look at it. Just got it yesterday, so I'm just giving you a little bit of what I was able to see. During an 1.5-inch rain event on Market Street, we took in, by calculation, approximately 65,000 gallons of water into the Walnut Street lift station. So doing this kind of legwork up front is helping us. So of course, where's the slip lining going? To that side of town, obviously. So we're gonna do our investigation. We're gonna make sure, double check and everything. We're gonna do some dye testing once our camera gets fixed. We're gonna do some smoke testing if we have to, but we're gonna focus our slip lining on that side of town. We get 65,000 gallons of water out of the Walnut Street lift station. That's a big help. But is it gonna fix the problem? No. We're always gonna have rain events. We can't stop rain. We're always gonna have high creek events on the west end of town. Once that happens, our manholes get inundated. We get water in, so we're always gonna have infiltration that we're gonna have to deal with and we're gonna have to move. So bottom line is we have to do something with the Front Street pumping situation. We have to. When we do it, how we do it, that's a whole nother ballgame, but something has to be done. We're not gonna fix the problem if we don't do something with that. And as the west end grows, until at some point in time, another treatment plant could be thought about or designed or built, everything from the west end of town goes to Walnut Street. So as our industrial parks grow, the system, if we get this part done, the system out there isn't causing us a big problem. It's right here that's causing us the problem. So we get this problem fixed, it's going to help a whole lot. I'm not gonna say it's gonna remove all the problems, because we're always gonna have problems too to have to deal with. But it will be it's the biggest elephant in the room right now, so.
So, Darren, I know this is not a short answer, but how do you finance something of this magnitude?
Let me, I don't have a detailed answer for you, but I mean.
There is some positives though out of it. I mean, there is some positive out of it.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know,
you
and
can,
so-
you get your treatment plant, the last payment, I think, is in 2029.
Yes,
And you've got, those are $1 million payments, annual. And so you've got some revenue that you're gonna be able to go ahead and utilize once that is paid off. Financing in the meantime, depending upon how soon you would wanna go ahead and take a look, I haven't sat down with Tammy
Yeah.
and looked at that yet to see what we can do. We wanted to, show you guys the results of what they're suggesting. But I think there's possibilities to go ahead and fund this. And the other thing is that I think the sewer fund is doing better, obviously, since we adjusted the rates. And I think you're gonna have some funding that you're gonna have that's gonna come in, that's gonna be able to go ahead and help you with this. But we gotta take a deeper dive into
Yeah.
it. We haven't had
Right.
a chance to do that yet.
we needed to know numbers and
Yeah, no, well, this
the
is,
numbers.
I guess
so.
before, and I've only been sitting here for a little while, but I'm looking at a 5.3 million just to run that pipe through property we already have, and that's, wow. I mean, $450 a foot?
Yep.
That's a lot.
yeah,
And a lot of that cost has to do with where the force main is at also. It's running right along the river, so you're gonna have a ton of dewatering going on through that project. A lot of other stuff, that always raises the cost of installation, everything that they have to deal with, so. I can understand the cost just because I know the situation and I know what it's like down there to try and do any work down there, so. That didn't really shock me any to see that dollar amount come in because, it's construction, so.
yeah.
Thing is that's this price today. What's that price gonna be next year, the year after that, the year after that? Who knows? It could go up, could go down. It's a gamble. We don't know. So, we could try doing some evaluation and say over the last 7 years, the increase was this much, and we could assume it would be this much, but it's a guess right now. Everything that's done is just an assumption, so.
Well, it's what we suspected about the force main. And, like you mentioned, if you create a bigger force main, you gotta have more pumps to push it through, so. I don't think there's any surprises here.
Other than the cost.
I'll take all the surprise on me, I guess, then, because that's not including the pumps. That 5.3 is the pipe
It was
running
just a
down.
matter of how many digits it was gonna be.
The digits are fine. I expected north of $1 million. I didn't expect 6. So,
Any other comments or questions while we've got these guys here?
How does this lift station operate during floods? Is it there, or is it something we need to worry about?
You mean, when you say floods, you mean if the river comes up,
Yeah,
floods? So if the river comes up now, the reason why we redesigned the station, back in 2008, in 93, there was the highest flood. In 93, the water got right to the top of the wet well platform. So they sandbagged, I wasn't here, I was in New Haven at the time of that flood. They sandbagged the door, and that was it. Didn't get anything got some hydraulic leakage right at the seams at the very top, but no big major flooding event. Now the station is built, what's in there now is what they call dry run submersible pumps. So that station can flood completely, and the pumps will still run. As long as the controls don't flood, the lower section, the way it's designed today, can flood, and the pumps will run until we get that side pumped out, because then everything had to be pumped out that side. So we designed that when we rebuilt it. Kerry and I sat for quite a while with the contractors and said, okay, what's the best thing? You know, our coaching came up with the dry run submersible concept, and it works. We haven't had to test it, thank God. It hasn't been tested. So to answer your question, it would take a higher flood event than the 93 flood to flood that station and take it out of commission now. Could it happen? Sure, it could happen. But I think the levee on the other side, unless they build a levee on the other side a lot higher, I think it would go before, kind of like what happened anyway. So yes, it's designed. And just so everybody knows too, just for information, now that we're talking about this, in 93, the old treatment plant went under. I don't know if anybody remembers that or not, but it completely flooded, completely out. Since that now, there is a flood wall that was built around the old plant at the elevation of the 93 flood level. And the new treatment plant was built at the 93 flood level when it was built. So it's gonna take something worse than the 93 flood to take the treatment plant or this station out. West End will go under. West Link would go under. They're all they're all submersible, so they would be just shut down due to control problems, because but if you notice, there's everywhere they're in the floodplain area, our controls are up in the air. We've got them up above the 93 flood lane, so we wouldn't lose our controls. The station, as long as the power didn't get shorted out or we lose power, would probably still run. We'd just be pumping flood water the whole time, but so that would run. West Link would go underwater. There's nothing out there. They're submersibles. The control panel would probably go under there. We know in 93, that building that sits out on Westlink, at the Westlink lift station, right there on Westlink and Southlink, that building, the water was at the very top of that building. So if you drive out Westlink and you see that little building sitting there by our station, the water was at the top of that level. So those controls would go out. We would probably try to pull them controls if we knew it was going to flood. And we would probably pull them controls and set a bypass pump out there and bypass until we had to pull a bypass pump. I don't know. We would try to plan something for that. But so anyway, to answer your question, so all we could build off of was the 93 flood. So so what we did. And going this route with this station, we would also put the generator at the 93 flood level, or maybe even a little bit higher, we'd have to see. So that station could be on an island on itself out there and continue running, because it wouldn't matter if it flooded, because everything's designed to be underwater, so, in the lower section, not the upper section, so.
Have you had to use the emergency generator very often?
We've had to use it a couple times. Let's see, what was the big ice storm in 2011? Something like that, 12, something like that, when we had that big ice storm. We had to have it down there. We didn't have anything else generated, but we did have Walnut Street generated. We were lucky that we have wells 10 and 11 generated currently, so we had our biggest two producers of water being able to produce water through that period, and we had Walnut Street, and of course the treatment plant is designed to run on the generator, and it does run on the generator, complete operation, so we have a lot of that set in place to be able to still operate. One backup generator is never enough. You talk to any emergency people, it's never enough. It does its job for us at one place. It works on the water side and the wastewater side. So we have wells that are set to be generated with a portable generator, but we only have one portable generator, so we don't use it on the water side, we rely on our two big ones, and we use it on the wastewater side, so. The other thing about this design, because it'll have to go to DNR for approval, there's a good chance, and I just want to throw this out here, there's a good chance that we won't have any choice but to put a generator at that station, because with it being the most important station on this whole side of town, probably DNR is going to require us to generate it. So it's just something to think about. That's probably not, we probably won't be able to say, well, let's save that $400,000, because we probably won't be able to do that on that side of it, but.
So really, we need to add that back into scenario one
At
and
the,
two.
yeah, at the end of the day, we would, you know, but we would need to wait until it got, the plans got to DNR and get their final say on it. I just have been watching a lot. I mean, I'm sure Dave and TJ have probably seen it too. Almost any time there's a redesign of something, it has to be approved by the DNR, and they hit them pretty hard on making it be some kind of, you know, we had to do it out at the new lift station out at Olenburg. There's a generator out there for that. So there's no reason why they wouldn't say, you're doing that to this one, you're gonna do the same thing there. So, just to keep that in mind, that's something that will more than likely be part of the cost. A good investment. It's not a bad investment. It's a positive investment, but there will be a cost to it, so.
The emergency storage, I get the concept, but if that is used, wouldn't that contribute to a source of odor?
We've had that conversation.
So, it could be, but, as Kevin has stated in the past, we would just have to make sure that it drained properly.
Yeah, that would fall into design, is what that would
Yes.
fall into.
Okay.
It just had to be able to drain all that water out, so there wouldn't be any reason for it to just sit there and cause odors.
There's other things with this storage situation that we'd have to also look at, and one of them is that whatever we put down there could be affected by the river height because of the hydraulic pressure from the river. Things have a tendency to float. So you get enough pressure underneath of that station, no matter how big it is, without doing something to make the weight of it even bigger, it could float up, and then
Like
you have a big
covered
mess.
swimming pool.
Yeah, yeah, so there's things once we start talking about it, there'll be other things that we really have to dive in deep into to say, okay, what happens if this, what would happen, you know, and then that cost will change too. You know, because if you have to add more concrete to add more weight, that's a cost. You won't be able to take away. Anything you do will have to be an added, no matter what it is, so.
Okay, but that particular addition could happen in the future.
Yes.
After this system is rebuilt and we see how things are working or whatever, and we still come up with something and say, man, we need that storage,
Yeah.
and you add it.
What I would suggest, if we're gonna look at it down that road, I would suggest when we redesign the station and go to the new pumps and everything, that we maybe plan ahead for a possible future, and if nothing else, set a manhole structure outside of the station that's tied into it, that could be sealed off, or whatever, so that we wouldn't have to go back into the station, bypass pump or whatever we had to do. We could at least plan that part ahead and say, well, we think we might do this, let's put this here and just be a little ahead of the game. So that's something we can look at too, once it gets to a point that we're actually into a true, real deep dive design on it, so
Okay.
that's something that can be always looked at.
All right. Not anymore? Thank you, sir.
Just one last thing too, there are, individual cost estimates in here as well. I didn't really hit on them much, but they are in there if you guys wanna review them. It's just individuals for every project I just talked about. I
Yeah.
just wanted to make sure you guys were aware of that.
In the very back.
Thank you. A lot of detail. You did a lot of work in a short period of time when you look at this.
Yes, they did. I thank you guys for
Wow.
doing that too. Did a good job. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Let's see, any other old business, anything else on anybody's mind? No?
Yeah, are they gonna, slip line around James Street coming up, or is that in the future?
Well, if I have anything left over for what we have to do over here, we will do that. Once we get our camera back up and running, we're gonna be able to actually get in that line and see what actually happened. 'Cause right now, we don't know what really happened, so.
Okay.
But yeah, that's, we have lines that have to be slip lined, we have lines that we know we have to slip line. But we can work with those lines with our jet truck and cut roots out if it's roots causing the problem, as long as there's not big separations. Right now, I think personally, and I think even my staff thinks, we really need to focus on helping Front Street, helping the Walnut Street lift station, because, yeah, we had 4 houses over there, and I'm not saying it's bad for anybody, but we can work with those with our equipment. We can't do anything with this. Once it gets to the point it's at, we're backing up and just trying to keep things from happening. So, yes, to answer your question, yes, that is on a slip lining list, but it might not make this year, it may be next year.
Okay.
But we know there's a problem there now, we keep an eye on it. It's on a list it's on a routine list now. We have a routine list that's, how many pages, I don't know how many pages, it's huge, that we go out and clean lines. So that's now added to that, so we're keeping an eye on it, so.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Very good. Our next meeting is scheduled for January 27th, 2026. Without any other comments, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Merry Christmas. Meeting adjourned. Thank you all.
I'd like to thank you all for another good year,
Yeah.
and Merry Christmas.
Same to you.
Have a good new year, and we'll
So,
keep on rolling.
does the city buy Powerball tickets? Just a thought.
It's always been a wise use of tax.
Did it roll again last night? I didn't even know it. Nobody hit it.
Yeah.
Now it's,
No, but John, they'll welcome your donation if you win.
Yeah.